through capacity building, education, software, monitoring and verification, and all those kind of things. I think that is, I don't have any more questions. Does anybody else have any questions? Can we measure our own footprint? Absolutely. You know, it all depends. I mean, a lot of the time, you know, finding out how it works, and once again, I reiterate, we are very happy to train people to do this. We have a 3-day course that we provide, a face-to-face course called a Carbon Footprint Analyst Level 1 course, which is a good start for a small company to have someone on that course so that they can actually do the carbon footprint themselves. For the bigger companies, Carbon Footprint Analyst Level 2 is very important, but over time what's happening, and the trend is, especially in the bigger companies, is that people want to see an independent verification or an independent report done. So once a company has built capacity and is able to conduct their own carbon footprint, or have worked with a consultant so that there's been a transfer of knowledge and skill, once that has happened, then often what happens is our clients come to us and say, please, we're doing our carbon footprint ourselves, we want to make it bulletproof, we wanted to give it more credibility, so please would you come in and provide an independent verification. And what that really is very similar to what financial auditors do. They'll take a look at a representative sample of source documentation, compare it to the worksheets, make sure that the worksheets are all accurate in terms of the calculations, that the right emission factors have been applied, and we'll come in and we'll do that audit on behalf of those clients. Now we do that for Woolworths, we do that for Clicks, and we do it for a couple of other big companies. So the trend is always they get consultants into a system. Smaller companies may want to train themselves, but over time what happens is as a company builds capacity, they rely on other companies to verify the work that they're doing. What is the percentage of South African companies getting carbon footprint audits? That's an interesting one. Well, all I can really talk about is what is publicly available. The Carbon Disclosure Project, as I referred to before, is an initiative that is a global initiative. All the biggest companies in the world with $64 trillion under management. In South Africa, it's the top 100 companies, and the top 100 companies last year, 78% of them actually responded to the Carbon Disclosure Project, and probably 100% of those, or maybe 90% of those companies had done their carbon footprint. So at the top end of town, you're seeing a massive trend towards companies understanding that this is something that they need to do and in fact are going to have to do. So in terms of the listed companies, it's the only thing that I can really make reference to. I've seen online calculators. Are using these not enough? The problem with online calculators is there are very few that relate to businesses. Online calculators are generally for individuals, and maybe one or two that are business related, but not in South Africa. And you must be very careful that using an online calculator that is made in America is completely inaccurate when it's working out South African greenhouse gas inventory, because the emission factors are very different. They have a different grid emission factor in other countries, different mix of energy sources, and the problem with that is we need to use the South African. It needs to be locally and geographically relevant. So carbon calculators, you can use it for your own personal emissions as long as it's in the same area or region, geographical region that you operate. But when it comes to companies, you need to go into a bit more details, and most calculators do not actually allow for many of the activities that companies that are prevalent in companies. Next question, will this webinar be available on your website? Yes, it will be from early next week. Yes, it will be from early next week. So we do make these webinars available for you, and please feel free to distribute it to your colleagues, because this information is really, really important. Okay, I think that's about it. Oh, we don't have any more questions, but it's been an absolute pleasure to host you on this webinar once again. We will be doing this on a monthly basis, different topics each month that are very relevant to all of us in South Africa. I wish you all a good evening, and see you next time. Thanks.